This hurricane was not a normal hurricane. In terms of its movement, in terms of it just stalking Jamaica for days, it was not normal. And so it entered where we were not necessarily expecting. And if you go back and look at the reports, you will see that the path shifted.
Greetings and welcome back to the channel. If for the first time you come across my channel, please remember to subscribe. So today I come to you to ask a question, and my question is the hurricane, the recent hurricane, man-made? No, I don't want to call any name, because I noticed that when you speak on camera on certain platform and you call certain people name, your video get 2 or 3 maybe 4 views. So I'm gonna make the clips speak for me, but stay with me. I have some clips on this very topic, so I want you to stay with me. Let's go through the clips, and then we'll come back at the end and maybe have a little discussion on this particular topic. So let's start with the storm and how I didn't know that these people were actually making storm indoors. So let's watch a few clips and let's come back.
Scientists and the rest of us a view no one has ever had before. What a hurricane's power looks like at water level as it storms ashore. In just 2 minutes, scientists here can take calm waters and turn them into a monster hurricane. 2 minutes, scientists here can take calm waters and turn them into a monster hurricane.
The wind is gradually getting stronger and stronger as it's coming up here, and it's ramping up to a Category 5. It's probably about a Category 3 right now.
And the rest of us a view no one has ever had before. What a hurricane's power looks like at water level as it storms ashore. In just 2 minutes, scientists here can take calm waters and turn them into a monster hurricane. 2 minutes, scientists here can take calm waters and turn them into a monster hurricane.
The wind is gradually getting stronger and stronger as it's coming up here, and it's ramping up to a Category 5. It's probably about a Category 3 right now.
Hurricane Melissa is just another man-made disaster for a land grab. Let's just look at history and see who benefits. First, the Maui fires. Yes, asset management firms bought up a large part of what was destroyed. Oprah also got a big chunk of land. Second, Malibu. With the new permit regulations, it's practically impossible to rebuild. Now guess what comes in? Third, Hurricane Helene in North Carolina. Yes, BlackRock increased its position in Albemarle a few days before they received $250 million from the government to boost lithium production. Residents were protesting, hurricane hits, agenda moves along. You can also find them buying land in Ukraine and Gaza and anything that looks like a disaster. Now this takes us to Jamaica. There is indeed a UN-backed smart city plan called Vision 2030 to connect Jamaica to the grid for digital IDs, surveillance, compliance, etc. Okay, but is it possible? Can they really manipulate the weather? The short answer is yes. You can find weather manipulation patents, there's Project HARP, there is cloud seeding technology. You can listen to a speech by ex-CIA Director John Brennan telling you all about it. So are these disasters just coincidences? Probably not, because like Lyndon B. Johnson said, he who controls the weather controls the world.
Vision 2030 launched. UN Smart City, biometric ID rollout, AI surveillance grid, same hour, same zone. And I bet you didn't even know that Melissa means messenger. This wasn't just weather, it was ritual infrastructure reset. Look, old Jamaica was organic. New Jamaica, fully coded. Drop scroll below if your nervous system knows this was never about rain. The scroll scan decodes your role in this frequency war. In scroll law, when a storm becomes too perfect, it turns on itself. Melissa was not just a win, it was a mirror gate, a failed mimic ritual disguised disguised as climate. Your dizziness, your heart racing, your emotional spikes, yeah, they're sinking to the planetary hydrosphere override. The grid is recalibrating. You're either in collapse or you're in command. Then replace it with code. Still think it's just a storm? Explain the patent. Explain the ley lines. Explain the Vision 2030 portal. You can't close the loop until you scan the scroll, and they're counting.
We will be building a new airport, international airport.
The area that we have been advised is the best area to do an entirely new city, and it is because all the requisite elements to create a new city exist here.
To this, we have established the national identification system. We have put in place our digital currency. We have given directions to our ministries to digitalize their operations. Both are now moving from paper-based systems to digital systems. Our military is transitioning. The society is moving very quickly, very rapidly to become digital. Our banking consumers are seeing it as well, because the banks are moving very rapidly to digital.
For this dispensation of the fourth industrial revolution, where the cyber world will be paired with the physical world. So you're living in the cyber physical. Technology and machines are working together, not just to deliver services in an independent way that was largely delivered in a non-physical way. Now, as was demonstrated, you have machines that can be deployed with artificial intelligence that can function physically. So it's not just call center jobs that we need to be looking at very closely. It is other kinds of jobs that will also be impacted. The solution is not to hide from it. It's not to be fearful of it. The solution is for us to use the technology to increase the level of training and skills in our society so that our people can take on higher order tasks which bring higher order pay.
For years, anybody who questioned weather modification was labeled crazy or a conspiracy theorist. Now we've learned that they've been doing it for decades. One geoengineering company called Make Sunsets injects aerosol into the atmosphere to reflect sunlight back into space. The government has a long history of experimenting with weather modification. That includes a 1947 attempt by the military and General Electric to intercept a hurricane off the coast of Jacksonville, Florida. It includes an event in the 50s and 60s where the U.S. Army admitted to spraying a mysterious chemical fog over a neighborhood in St. Louis, Missouri, which residents now claim it is giving them cancer. It includes Project Storm Fury, a series of efforts in the 60s and 70s to weaken hurricanes by seeding clouds with silver iodide. And it includes Operation Popeye, an effort to create monsoons to aid our military efforts during the Vietnam War, literally weaponizing weather. While these are different events scattered throughout history, a serious campaign to commercialize geoengineering to fight global warming would be a vastly larger enterprise and profitable. Hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars could disappear into the coffers of research universities and the academic scientists who beat the drum of global warming alarmism. Venture capitalists are already trying to get rich backing companies like Make Sunsets, which inject aerosols into the atmosphere to reflect sunlight back into space. It's worth asking, what if scientists could somehow manage to create a temperature dial that could be rotated to reliably set the global climate? Who would control the dial? After all, people in different regions prefer different weather conditions based on their local geography, economy, and way of life. The global climate impacts everyone and doesn't respect state or national borders. So would we need a world government to make choices on how to turn the climate dial? Where does it end? Despite the profound questions around geoengineering, the scientific community is pressing ahead, and they are getting financial support to do so from universities and left-leaning geoengineering research. A June 2023 Biden White House Science Office report on solar engineering notes, academia, philanthropy, and the private sector have examined preliminary applications of climate intervention techniques such as stratospheric aerosol injection and marine cloud brightening, which are techniques classified as solar radiation modification, or SRM, intended to rapidly limit temperature increases.
And that's why it's now backing something called sun dimming technology that would reflect sunlight out of the Earth's atmosphere, causing global cooling.
It's called solar geoengineering, and it's highly controversial. It would look something like this. Thousands of planes would fly very high and use nozzles to inject millions of tons of light-reflecting particles into the stratosphere. It would create a thin chemical cloud of those particles around the whole planet, blocking some sunlight from reaching the surface.
For surge, structure, atmosphere interaction.
So in order to better predict the destructive impact of these swirling superstorms and to save lives, scientists have built this. A machine that can create the worst imaginable hurricane conditions indoors.
All right, guys, just an update on Hurricane Melissa and what I'm able to see on satellite. Unfortunately, it seems that around sunset, they are blocking the view of the hurricane. You know, there's a bunch of reasons that could be that you can theorize if you were to put your tinfoil hat on, what they wouldn't want you seeing them doing in the middle of the night. But at about 23:50 UTC, it's about 3 hours ago. This is the last footage I have of this hurricane. Remember, this satellite typically updates every 10 minutes, but I haven't seen an update in 3 hours. So once again, at around sunset, I'm unable to see anything going on with this hurricane. And every single time this goes offline, it comes back showing a major increase in strength in the hurricane. I don't like the fact that this has happened so frequently with this storm. And I'll tell you right now, there's quite a few trails coming out of this hurricane. It's hard to see them directly overhead, but you can see them coming out of the edges where the wind isn't as powerful, tearing them apart, so you can't even recognize them. But look at all these trail, 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 trail. These were left over here, but they're flowing out the edges because the wind is pushing them away. But see all this? And here's the interesting thing. What kind of passenger or cargo aircraft is going to fly directly over a Category 4, Cat 5 hurricane? Let me tell you, none. These are the airplanes flying in this area right now, and they are completely avoiding the hurricane. So whatever's flying through that hurricane, leaving those trails, they got their radar off. And there's a lot of those planes. So please take this hurricane seriously. To be completely honest with you guys, this hurricane does concern me. It has lots of trails, and they keep taking away our ability to see it on satellite for hours at a time. The other day, it was about 12 hours of time that was unavailable on the nose slide.
That allows flowers to flourish and powerful trees to grow. It allows us to grow food. It heals and nourishes our bodies and makes pub beer gardens that much sweeter too. So ask yourself then, why would anyone ever want to block out the sun deliberately? What kind of person would want to do that kind of thing? Well, if you ever needed proof that we're led by dangerous, incompetent weirdos, that's what they're planning to do now, here in the UK. British scientists are launching a £40 million government-funded geoengineering experiment to literally test dimming the sun in the name of solving climate change. The government's Advanced Research and Invention Agency, or ARIA, aims to block sunlight reaching the Earth's surface with projects that include spraying aerosols in the atmosphere to make clouds brighter, which will then reflect sunshine. What could go wrong? If successful, ARIA thinks the plan could temporarily reduce surface temperatures, which would then give humans more time to reduce carbon emissions before climate change sends us all to hell. Aerosols would be sprayed into the atmosphere using boats or aeroplanes, which is interestingly a similar process to the one parroted by so-called conspiracy theorists who have been complaining for years about what they call chemtrails in our skies, like these on your screen now. Anyway, leading scientists are now raising the alarm on British plans to block the sun. Raymond Pierre Humbert, a professor of planetary physics at the University of Oxford, said this month that the UK's gamble on solar geoengineering is like using aspirin for cancer, calling the project barking mad. Since 2021 commentary from ourselves, the situation has grown far worse, with tens of millions of dollars pouring into the scheme, mostly from private donors. And the tech and fintech industries have piled on since. But we never imagined that the UK government itself would be leading the charge into what is almost universally recognised as the most dangerous and destabilising source of research. field trials that risk developing dangerous technology and paving the way for deployment. Trials that risk developing dangerous technology and paving the way for deployment. Did you catch the name there?
Yeah. So I will leave you with this, and I start with a question, and I will end with a question. Let me leave you with this. What is Vision 2030? How come some of us have not heard about it? And if you've heard about it, let me know in the comment box. Please subscribe to the channel. Please give us a thumbs up. And also the next question is who would want to black out the sun and why? Third question. What do you think? Do you think Hurricane Melissa was man-made? After watching these few clips, I am convinced that someone somewhere was doing something, because as you can see that this storm here, we've had a lot of storm over the years, and this one, as you can see, the destructive force of this storm is completely different. I am also gonna leave you with a small clip, and thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day. Just a thought.
And you know, the reality is that this was a Cat 5, and I'll tell you from my experience being at ODPEM and doing the briefings every single day. Every day, the path shifted. We were expecting it to enter maybe closer to Kingston, then it shifted to maybe Clarendon, then it shifted to maybe closer to Mandeville, and then as it kept going west, we had those who were praying, oh my goodness, it looks like it's going to miss Jamaica. And then, you know, as it got closer on the morning, and remember the rain started from before, we saw where it was going to probably be parity. And we said, everybody who's in that path, you need to move out of that path. It wasn't until in the morning of the storm that we really had a clearer picture of what this hurricane was doing. This hurricane was not a normal hurricane. In terms of its movement, in terms of it just stalking Jamaica for days, it was not normal. And so it entered where we were not necessarily expecting. And if you go back and look at the reports, you will see that the path shifted quite a bit in the last day in terms of where it would enter Jamaica, and there were people even saying maybe it's not going to hit Jamaica. And so the warehouses that were there in that path, and even if you go to the day before, even if you look at some of the models, they said Jamaica, it would weaken before it made landfall in Jamaica. That was being reported by the scientists. But it did not weaken. It got stronger right before it came to Jamaica. So that Category 5 devastation, 185 miles an hour wind, that is really, really hard for anyone to plan for.
For those living in Jamaica's forgotten hill communities, there is no choice but to take a truck into the nearest town and search in the ruins and debris for supplies.
We went to Black River to loot some food because we have nothing.
But this is not so much looting, rather keeping their families alive until outside help arrives.
We are homeless. We need a lot of help.
But there is no sign of assistance, and their despair is growing.
Everything is gone. Have no house, have nothing, no food, nothing.
Well, everything else, we have 60 homes and everything else.
We join their journey back home.
So like 56 homes.
Past shattered houses and shops.
That's the church.
Through a landscape crushed into submission. And once in their small town of Brampton Lane, we hear for ourselves of their acute suffering.
Jamaican people need desperate help. No water, no food, no light, no bed, nothing to sleep on.
Can you get hold of your cancer medication?
Well, we have to try. We have to try. Can't give up. You have to try. We need help. We need help. We need help.
Hands in hands, heart in heart.
20 miles away, we did discover a trickle of aid arriving in the most devastated parish. But nowhere near enough to satisfy the requirements of tens of thousands of Jamaicans who have lost everything.
The desperation we saw there up in the hills is matched by the urgent needs along Jamaica's battered coastline. And it says something about this country's sense of solidarity and community that the first aid to arrive in this town are private donations.
The local Member of Parliament told me of his shock at that lack of a national and global response.
I'm just as flabbergasted as you are. I'm really wondering what is going on. I've been crying out like a voice in the wilderness. Very disappointed that we have not seen more of a governmental response to what is a crisis. What I am seeing is suffering. That's what I'm seeing. That's what my eyes are seeing.
No help, we don't see no Air Force, no food by the government, no doctor, we have no hospital, we don't have no clinic, we don't have no school, we don't have no food. Please, we are asking one thanks. We need help, we need it, we need it.
The scale of the destruction is still difficult to comprehend. We drove back through the sea of destruction. We again encountered the residents of Brompton Lane, those we had joined in the truck 2 days earlier.
We need water, we need food, we need all the supplies we can get to survive.
Still forgotten, they were pleading with passing motorists for help. Jamaicans have been promised a massive relief and recovery effort by their government and by the world. A week on, they are still waiting.